What's good? It's your girl Chammy, and today we are playing Rose of Winter. Very cute visual novel that I saw on sale on Steam a couple years ago. Never got around to playing it, and I figured today is the day. So none of my friends have played this. I don't actually know anything about the storyline. Have no clue how long it is. So I'll probably get at least 2 to 3 hours out of the first sit down. No clue how many more videos will follow after that. I don't imagine it's a particularly long story, but we'll see. We're just gonna go right into it. So grab your water, grab your fruit snack, and let's get the show on the road. Beware, evildoers, for I am Rosemary, the Night of Winter. Or should it be the Blade of Winter? Oh, maybe the Rose of Winter. Doesn't that sound impressive? You know, a symbol of hope bursting through the ice? That's good, right? I mean, it's not too completely embarrassing, is it? Oh well, I'll figure out a good knightly sounding title someday. My actual name is Rosemary, which isn't very knightish. And as for that Blade of Winter thing, well, I'm in a place where it's been snowing a lot, and, you know, to be honest, I just think it sounds cool. Cool stuff doesn't have to make sense, right? Anyway, about a year ago, I left my family's farm to fulfill my destiny and become a knight. Sounds pretty amazing, right? I thought so too. Side note, look at how cute she is. Oh, look at her little armor, pink and white armor with her little, like, scratchy looking turtleneck. Oh, okay. So far, though, I've just been doing odd jobs for gold wherever I can find them. I've slain the occasional beast and rescued plenty of cats from trees. It's not exactly what I expected, but at least I'm making a living. I guess that makes me more of a mercenary than a real knight. If I could just make a living saving cats, that'd be pretty dope, I think. But hey, I've got a cool suit of armor and my trusty sword, so I'm almost there. I hate to admit it, but it's harder to become a knight than I thought. I'll always keep trying, though. This background, I really like the aesthetic of this background, like the lineless art. The minimal shading, but like the textures, I'm enjoying that. My travels eventually brought me to this tavern at the foot of Mount Needle. You wouldn't know how cozy it is in here, but the mountain outside is super dangerous. Mount Needle, so named for the freezing winds that pierce your very skin, crawling with deadly beasts that hunger for human flesh. That's great. Only the bravest of the brave dare to venture here. Doesn't that sound like the perfect place for an aspiring knight to find her destiny? Oh, I'm so excited. You know what? I'm glad she's not worried, because if it was me, I would stick to being the cute knight that saves the cats and stuff like that. You're not finding me on a mountain with flesh-eating monsters. Unless I'm that bitch. Anyway, now that I'm here, I've got to find a job, and fast. I spent the last of my gold getting a room at this tavern. Planning ahead isn't exactly my strong suit. Luckily, the tavern has plenty of postings for mercenaries. I mean, knights, like me. It shouldn't be hard to find a job here. See, beyond Mount Needle lies Starlight City, one of the most beautiful and prosperous places in the world. People from all kingdoms gather there for important business. To get there, you can either travel by boat for days on end or take a shortcut over the deadly mountain. Most people take the long way around, but it just so happens there are 4 princes of different kingdoms here at this tavern now. 4 princes, ooh. Each of them has urgent business in Starlight City and needs to take the shortcut, however dangerous it might be. They'll need an escort to make it across. That's where I come in. Why don't the princes already have an escort? I feel like they should have a whole... what's the word? Retinue? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Well, anyway. I may not be great at planning, but I've got good instincts, a huge sword, and more than enough strength to use it. I can get a prince across that mountain with my eyes closed. Okay, she's confident in her skills. I'm liking that. And she is looking, you know, she's looking strong. She's looking like she got some muscle. I think. So let's see. The 4 princes are... First is Faulkner, the Prince of the Fae. Homie is looking like he's like in his daddy era. He's looking like he's in his 40s at least. I'm okay with that. I've heard a little about him. He's supposed to be all dashing and elegant, the perfect gentleman. But the Fae people are also supposed to be really tiny. I mean, I've never met one, but that's what I hear. Okay, so he's daddy, but he's like tiny. That's kind of funny, actually. How's he going to handle crossing a treacherous mountain? Well, I guess it's my job to figure that out. Homie about to be perched on my shoulder like the flea from Inuyasha. Next is Prince Elgandir of the Southern Kingdom. He's pretty young, like a little kid. The job posting came from his caretaker who was traveling with him. Okay, interesting. I don't like to judge based on looks, but doesn't he look kind of like a scruffy drifter? Yes. And I like that. I like that he gets a crow on his shoulder. Should a guy like that really be taking care of a child? I wonder what the story is there. He didn't even post his name. Third is Tyranny, Prince of Dragons, he is so adorable. Look at him, he is so cute. Well, it's kind of scary, but he's actually a real dragon. The job posting says he's a fire dragon, so he doesn't do well in cold weather. He has to take a human form to save energy, so he's really weak and needs a lot of help getting across the mountain. Oh, well in that case, this shouldn't be too bad. Anyway, knights deal with dragons all the time, don't they? This should be a piece of cake. Finally, there's Prince Kuya of Moon Forest. He looks so mad. Look at them big ass eyes and those eyebrows. I don't even know if those are eyebrows so much as like his hair just swoops in from the front and covers the top of his eyes. To be honest, I'm more scared of him than the dragon. This kingdom is really isolated, so no one really knows what his people are like. But the stories say they're all barbaric, fierce hunters with giant claws and fangs like wild beasts. Still, if he's here asking for help like anyone else, he can't be that bad, right? I question why he's asking for help, but alright. Okay. Maybe there are more jobs than just these 4, but these guys just seem super interesting to me. She don't got a front. I know what she's thinking about. And it's okay to say it. As a knight, okay, we can have interests, same as anyone else. And by interesting, I mean hot. Okay, there we go. You right? Look, don't judge me. I've been traveling all alone for so long, and I've always dreamed of a fairy tale romance. It's not like I really expect anything to happen. I've never even had a boyfriend before. But maybe this time. Anyway, enough of this embarrassing stuff. I've got to hurry up and pick a prince already. Alright. I'm really liking Tyranny. Super cute. Kuya, I'm sure that the story would be very cute, just like the scruffy barbaric prince falling in love. But I kinda want to go with like, oh, I don't know. This is actually a hard choice. We're gonna go with the caretaker. I'm liking his design. He's looking scruffy, like she said. I'm interested in the scruff, so we're gonna go with little Prince Elgandir and his caretaker. I gather all my supplies together and arrange for a mountain donkey to carry the little prince and his effects. As soon as that's all taken care of, I let the prince's caretaker know that I'm ready to go. Good, awfully decent of you to supply us. I've got my flask and my smokes, so I'm ready to hit the road. That's all you got? That's not all you brought, is it? Ha, course not. I've also got my deck of cards in case we need time, unless we've got time that needs killing. He winks at me. Is he just fooling around or what? I'm so bad at knowing if people are kidding. I do feel like he's kidding. He probably has like that kind of personality where he disarms you with like his casualness, but turns out he actually know what the fuck he's doing. Like master assassin in disguise or some shit. Heh. Yeah, it's always good to be prepared, right? For some folks. Me though, I just prefer to wing it. Speaking of which, you can call me Crow. It's the name I like best these days. That's not even his real name, but I'll call him Crow. Crow. Nice to meet you. I'm Rosemary. So, where is the prince? Still sleeping in, most likely, that lazy little... He proceeds to call Prince Elgandir, a word I can't repeat in good conscience. Crow, should you really be talking about him that way? Sweet lady, if you knew half of the trouble he gets up to, you'd agree that's too kind of a word. Second choice of the game, but first, like, story-wise choice. Maybe you're right. I'm just not used to it, or it's not appropriate to talk about royalty like that. Personally, I don't care how people talk about royalty if it's not in front of their face. Like, they don't hear it, it don't hurt their feelings. I'm good with that. So we're just gonna go with maybe you're right. Sorry, I'm just not used to hearing language like that. It caught me off guard. We don't talk that way down on the farm. Farm girl, huh? I might have guessed. You've got strong shoulders. That's right, these broad-ass shoulders can carry you up the mountain, boy. Oh, do I? I mean, I don't know. I guess I do work out a lot. I can tell. Unlike me, I'm good at lifting spirits and not much else. We're gonna be real glad to have you along, darling. I can tell. Haha. Oh goodness, do you really think so? Well, of course I'll do my best. Heh. Gosh, I almost forgot what we were even talking about. You were saying you don't care much for my language. Oh, that. Well, I'm sure I'll get used to it. Listen, if you're afraid I ain't taking this seriously, I'm sorry I gave you that impression. I promise I care about that little fella like he was my own flesh and blood. Which makes sense, because there's no way the kingdom is gonna send this man with the prince if he would, like, literally throw him off the side of the mountain. Unless that was the plan. I'm trying to have a little fun while I'm out here, you know? Fun, but it's a deadly, dangerous mountain full of danger and deadliness and bad stuff. We'll be fine. I've got a good feeling about this. Besides, you look like the kind of do-gooder who can take care of a scoundrel like me. And him. Now you're calling the king's son a scoundrel. What the old king don't know won't hurt him, but I'll watch my language if it makes you feel better. You've got a hell of a smile. I don't want to be the one making it go away. Okay, he already laying it on thick. He already trying to mac? Oh, thank you. Does he talk like this to all the ladies? I'm gonna guess so. I don't get a chance to ask because the little prince arrives from his room. He's carrying a box of books and toys and doesn't look pleased. These are mine. Don't touch them. Let's go already. I'm bored. What'd I tell you? He's such a little scamp. Prince Elgandir, my name's Rosemary. I bet we're going to be great friends. Now don't you worry, because the path across Mount Needle may be tough, but I'm sworn to protect you. And so, I will. Come on now, answer the nice lady when she's talking to you. Shut up, you're not my dad. Can't argue with that. Sorry, I tried. Damn, this boy is full. I mean, you can't really expect different from a tiny little prince. Cool. And with that inspiring start, our journey begins. The way up the mountain is pretty easy so far, and it isn't snowing much yet. I'll take that as a good sign. Look at them making eyes at each other already. Crow and I walk side by side, and the prince rides his mountain donkey, which follows Crow obediently. Pretty good going so far, huh, Prince? We couldn't have asked for better weather. That's for sure. Come to think of it, I never asked why you're taking this path in the first place. Oh, the prince has just been out on one of his little jaunts. He's got to be back in Starlight City in time for his birthday in a few days. This prince looks like a baby. What kind of jaunt does he go on? That doesn't really answer my question. And what does he mean by little jaunt? The prince is like 5 or something. Okay, clearly I think exactly the same as the princess. That's kind of funny. I guess I just don't understand royal stuff. Hear that, little fella? Your birthday's gonna be a pretty big deal. The king's gonna fill the whole city with light in your honor. Not that you'll ever appreciate it. Shut up, I don't care. What do you know about daddy anyway? Not a whole lot, to be honest. But that doesn't matter. Come on, enough with the sour face. I don't remember being this bratty at your age. Let's play a game. Yeah, that's it. A fun game. Like, I spy with my little eye something white. Is it snow? Yes. Wow, Rosemary, I'm sure there were so many other possibilities, and she went with the easiest one, the least exciting one. That wasn't a very good game. She's right. I mean, he's right. We fucked up. Sorry. I've got it. How about a magic trick? As soon as he hears the word magic, Prince Elgandir's face lights up. He stares at Crow with intense, furious interest. Show me, show me. Crow steps closer to him, a sly look in his eyes, moving slowly to draw out the tension of the moment. Seems you didn't wash well enough, little prince. You've got something behind your ears. What? That's not true. It's the servant's job to wash me anyway. Without another word, Crow pulls out a huge red rose, thorny stem and all, out from behind the prince's ear. Wait, where did that come from? How did he even do that? A flower that big, I'm sure I would have seen where he pulled it from. And you'd think the petals would at least be a little crooked from being hidden up a sleeve, but they look smooth and fresh and sparkle with perfect dewdrops. That's amazing. The prince, however, seems less impressed than I am. And he got his eyes closed and everything. He looks... he looks not very amused. That's not real magic, stupid. That's just silly tricks. The jesters at the palace do that. I've seen it 1,000,000 times. You sure it's not real? Maybe you ought to call the royal guard and have them throw me in the dungeon just in case. Eh? He turns his back on Crow and I and immediately retrieves a book from his basket of possessions. You're boring. I'm reading my story now. Everyone go away. Well, you heard the man. He's certainly a handful. I warned you. Not too good with kids, I take it. I feel like she is probably good with kids and just not good with princes. And I feel like most people wouldn't be. I should be. I grew up with lots of little brothers and sisters. I like kids. Usually they like me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with this one. Don't worry too much. I have a feeling he likes you plenty, somewhere deep down. Crow hands the rose smoothly to me. Oh, for you, darling. Oh, thank you. It's beautiful. It really is. Against the snow and the cold sky, the rich red petals glow with warmth and beauty. I've never seen a color so striking. By the way, what you said about the royal guard. You couldn't be really thrown in a dungeon for doing tricks like these, right? If they thought it was real magic, I could. That's the way the wind is blowing in the Southern Kingdom these days. The old king hates magic. Afraid of it, maybe. Using spells can get you fined or locked up for a few months, but it's going to get worse in the coming years, I reckon. Lucky for me, it's all just parlor tricks. That's a relief. So how did you do that anyway? It's like sleight of hand or something, right? He's silent for a moment, but there's a smile in his eyes. Now, if I went and told you all my secrets, I'd lose my air of mystery. And what would I have left to seduce you? Homie, you trying to seduce me? Seduce? I clutch the rose tightly to my chest and my face grows hot, but Crow winks at me like we're sharing a little joke. He's got to be kidding, right? It's hard to get a good read on him. He has a twisty sort of nature. Am I even sure that I can trust him? Crow keeps on walking ahead, whistling a jaunty tune. The donkey trots after him with the prince safely in tow. I stay behind for a moment. I check on the rose, wondering how long it can last without water, and it's only then I notice that it's somehow just gone. My hand is still clasped tight around what I thought was the stem, but there's nothing there. I glance around to see if it's fallen or blown away. There's not a trace of red in all that snow. If the rose did fall, it's lost for good. Wouldn't I have felt that happen, though? How strange. No, I'm being silly. I must have dropped it. Honestly, I'd lose my head if it weren't screwed on. It's a bit disheartening to lose such a beautiful gift, but there's nothing to do but keep moving. We've been walking for hours. The road gets a bit steeper, the going a little harder. The prince seems happy, at least, riding his donkey, reading his stories, and ignoring everything else. Making it across Mount Needle with the child is going to be tough, and I'll have to take it more slowly and carefully than I usually would. Crow, for his part, doesn't seem too concerned. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So, what's your story, Crow? You're probably more than just a babysitter, right? Sure, but there's not much to say about it. I go here and there, do this and that, nothing too interesting. We can be mercenaries together. We can go anywhere. I'm sure he has, like, a particular set of skills. We would probably be the couple you want to, like, escort you. I live out of my hat sometimes. You know how that is, don't you? You're a fellow wanderer, I can tell. You really think so? Sure, you got the look about you. Stars in your eyes, wind in your hair, even when you're standing still. Huh, you're funny. Who says I'm kidding? Oh, gosh, I don't know. I never really thought of myself that way before. A wanderer, huh? Well, I guess that's kinda true. It sounds so romantic. What I really want to be is a knight, though. I mean, a real knight. Huh. You got your heart set on working for the royals, do you? She didn't technically mention anything about royals. She just said she wanted to be a knight. So I'm gonna go with no. I guess it's about more than that. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be made a real knight. I mean, who wouldn't? It's what I've dreamed of since I was a little girl. But I guess I've learned that life isn't always like what you'll imagine it'll be when you're a kid. Ain't that the truth? It's not the sword or the armor or some monarch's approval. That's not what I really want. What matters to me is helping people, I guess. Doing good things, heroic things. I want to become someone who can be trusted and depended on to come through no matter what. I don't need to be officially knighted, as long as I can be that. When I say it like that, it probably sounds so silly. Not at all, I know just what you mean. I'll wait for him to elaborate on that, but he doesn't. Once again, I realize he never really answered my question. Mind waiting here for a second? I'm gonna go have a smoke, and I don't like to do it in front of the little one. Oh, sure, go ahead. I feel like homie's not smoking. But also, he looks like someone who would smoke, so I guess we'll find out. I'm happy to watch Prince Elgandir for a moment. But when Crow's not back after about 20 minutes, I start to worry. It's getting dark. Anything can happen on a mountain like this. I can't forget that. Pulling the prince and his donkey along with me, I set out to look for Crow. Through the trees, I can see a small clearing. I can just make out Crow's familiar shape through the branches. But when I try to push through, the shape disappears. All I see is a flash of blue on the cliffside opposite. And before I can go any further, there's a hand on my shoulder. Looking for me? Ah! How'd you get behind me? Just the usual way. Sorry, darling, didn't mean to scare you. That's okay, I wanted to make sure you were alright. Should we push? We should push on just a little further. And then make camp. Sounds nice, lead the way. I turn and leave with him. For some reason, I don't want to look behind me at what I saw, or what I thought I saw. Maybe I imagined it? But that flash of blue lingers in my mind, hovering around the edges of my memory. There's something familiar about it, but I can't place it. I guess it doesn't matter. Soon, we make camp for the night in a small cave on the cliff. As I drift off to sleep, the worries fade a bit from my mind, but I see flashes of blue light in my dreams. We may camp, but we not gonna eat or nothing. I can't get no chicken leg, no turkey leg, no greens. I wake the next morning to the sound of a crackling fire and shuffle of cards. Crow is doing more little tricks for Prince Elgandir. When Crow correctly guesses the prince's card for the 5th time in a row, the little boy almost cracks a smile. The smell of fried egg wafts through the tent. I see that he's made good use of my food supplies. Okay, finally we get some food. Crow, that smells so good. You can cook? It's a fried egg. Sure, when the opportunity goes and presents itself. You really are a man of many talents. It's an egg, Rosemary. I hope anyone can cook an egg, but you know what? It's okay. She's razzled and dazzled by his magic and his scruffiness and his charm. We're gonna let her have this one. Darling, you have no idea. So, want me to read your future in the cards? Huh, sure. I love hokey stuff like that. Do you now? Well, I'm fond of it too. I settle down on the floor across from him. He shuffles the deck and deals out 2 cards face down in front of me. Okay, pick one. Ooh, left or right? I was initially left-handed before my parents forced me to be right-handed, so we're gonna go with left. Oh damn, it's the pale fox. He looks pretty sneaky. Oh, don't worry, darling, it just means you're awful good-looking. Oh, okay. You know, a real fox. Of course, I didn't need cards to tell me that. Gosh, you're such a flirt. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I ought to, but I never am. Okay. What's it really mean, though? I mean, being good-looking isn't a real fortune. Crow hesitates before he answers. There's a look on his face that seems unlike him. Does the fox mean I'm gonna get, like, bamboozled or something? Like, someone's gonna do some slick shit and it's gonna betray me? Because I low-key feel like he looked like someone who would be doing some stuff like that. Actually, pale fox means somebody's lying to you and you don't even know it. Nice. My heart sinks. I know fortune-telling is just a silly game, but this feels different somehow. After all, the only person who could possibly be lying to me right now is... It's me. I've been lying to you. Honestly, it's no surprise. He looks like someone who would lie to me, and I chose him anyway, so that's on me. You have? Darling, the truth is that your son? You're not actually like Princess. I ain't got the faintest idea what any of these cards mean. Amazing. After a moment of stunned silence, we both burst into laughter. I bet you think you're very cute, don't you? Oh, let's just eat already. The 3 of us have a nice breakfast together. Oh, I just got a little achievement. Huddled together in warmth and safety, you'd almost forget we're on a perilous mountain, and that after another day of travel or 2, we'll part ways and never see each other again. I already feel a little sad thinking of saying goodbye. Eating together, talking and laughing, it almost feels like the family dinners we had on the farm. I catch Crow meeting my eyes, and I blush and look away. He'd probably laugh if I knew what I was thinking. Once we're ready to go, oh, she's so determined. Look at that face. Oh no, we venture out of the cave. It snowed a lot overnight. I try not to let it get me down, but the trail we were following is hard to find. On the other hand, considering the horror stories I've heard about Mountain Needle, I guess it could be worse. After walking for a few hours, though, I realized the snow's taken us pretty far off course. We're officially lost. Ahead of us is an open crevasse, deep and jagged like a stone, like the stone was torn open by the claws of some giant beast. I can't see a way past it, and we shouldn't have come across it anyway, not if we're following the path I had wanted. That's trouble. Fear like swearing yet? No, never. Don't worry, I can figure this out. Let's see. There's no way to make a bridge, not a reliable one, anyway. Maybe I could try to leap across and find something on the other side? I'm bored. This is taking too long. Calm down, little fella. I have a feeling we'll find our way across somehow. It's nice that you're optimistic, but having a feeling isn't really helping with... Before I can even finish the thought, a terrifying screech shakes me to my core. Rising up over the hills is what looks like a giant owl. Okay, now the prince is shook. Ah! After shrieking in fear, the poor little prince faints dead away. Oh, okay, damn. He's knocked out cold. I'm glad he's not awake to see the birds, the huge birds' vicious talons unfold, or hear the deadly quiet of the noiseless wings as it flies right at us. Is that a night rock? But it's the middle of the day. That's impossible. How big is this bird? It shouldn't be hunting in daylight. There's no time for questions, though. It's coming right at us. So... I have to protect the prince, obviously. But if we go and run, I'm pretty sure the thing is just gonna follow us. It's already hunting us, and it's winged. So we're gonna grab the sword, because I doubt this thing is just gonna let us go. It has advantage anyway, in terms of chasing. I pull out my greatsword, but the night rock is too fast. In one swift motion, it's on top of us, and the sky above me is blocked out by a mass of wings and feathers. In one massive talon, it grabs hold of me and Crow, and the other, it grabs the donkey and the prince. As far as I can tell, it hasn't dug in its claws yet. We can still get out of this alive. It carries us high over the crevasse. Luckily, I have my sword in my free arm. Operating on pure instinct and ignoring the sinking feeling in my stomach as we rise up into the air, I strike. My blade digs into the meat of the night rock's left talon, the one grabbing onto me and Crow. The night rock screeches in pain, but so does Crow. Did the claws dig into him when we attacked? I don't see any blood, but I'm starting to panic all the same. I'd better not strike again. I can't risk hurting anyone. But if I'm not going to attack again, I have no idea what to do. I wish I had planned this out better. But then how could I have expected a night rock attack in daylight? Maybe I can wait for it to drop us in its nest and strike quickly at its heart. Try to kill it in one blow. My mind is racing, so I hardly notice that the night rock slows its flight and drifts to the ground. As soon as the night rock passes over the crevasse, it drops us back into the snow, safely on the other side. Then the great bird immediately flies off, disappearing in the cloudy sky. What? Why did it do that? So it literally just gave us a lift and then dipped. I think that Crow has command over birds. Like he can shift, like warg, you know, like Game of Thrones, he can warg into like birds. Never mind, I've got to check on the prince first and make sure he's okay. I brush his sweaty hair out of his face and feel for a pulse. Prince Elgandir is still unconscious, but alive and safe. Thank goodness, I don't know how I'd live with myself if something happened. I look around. The night rock is completely gone. The donkey seems fine, if a bit dazed. Crow, however, is lying on the ground, clutching his left hand. I rush to his side and pull him out of the snow, cradling him in my lap. Okay. Are you good, homie? Ain't this a nice situation? Oh, shut up. You're hurt. Gosh, your hand is really bleeding. Is that where it dug its claws in? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. It grabbed you around your waist, so it shouldn't have clawed your hand. An idea is coming to my mind. Foggy at first, but slowly solidifying around the edges. I cut the night rock on its claw, and Crow cried out in pain when I did, and now his hand is bleeding in the same spot. He is a warg. Definitely Fae, at the very least, right? Look at them pointy ears. I know what this means, although I can hardly believe it. You couldn't have, could you? Huh, you nailed me good with that hit. Don't fret about it, you couldn't have known. Homie, you could have just told me. If you would have told me, I wouldn't have hurt you. This I actually don't even feel bad. Because if he told me he could just manifest a bird to carry us over the crevasse, I would have been like, yeah, do it. Let's go. I reckon the jig is up now, though. You were possessing that night rock, but why would you do that? To get us across the crevasse, of course. Didn't expect you to be so quick to get it hidden, though. Damn, girl, you're good. Those old royals would be fools not to make you a knight. That means you're a mage. You're actually possessing a creature of that size? That's incredible. But if my strike on his left talon caused you to get the same cut on your left hand, then that means... He grins up at me and coughs, his voice a little wheezy. Yep, I'm not too good at possessing. A mage skilled in that particular art would know how to keep his soul apart from the night rocks and not take on the same wounds. Oh, okay. So we're getting a little bit of, like, interesting magic lore. Like, I think that makes sense magically. That's interesting. As you can see, I'm pretty rusty at it, so I took some damage. Ouch. Oof, you really nailed me, darling. It's like he actually is proud that I sliced his hand open. What is he, crazy? He seems mostly okay, though. After a moment, he manages to stand up. His hand is bleeding, but not as badly as I thought. That's a relief. If you're wondering, I know lots of types of magic, but only a little of each, just enough to be slightly useful in most situations. I dedicate most of my time and energy to mastering one particular magical art, and that one's a real humdinger. It takes up a lot of my attention, so I don't have much left for anything else. Is he, like, actually a crow possessing a human body? I'll actually be dead. Would I allow myself to be with, like, a crow possessing a human? I feel like I can't answer that without implicating myself. We're just gonna keep it moving. But if you're not good at possession, why did you try to use it to get us across the crevasse? Well, like I said, I know just enough to be useful. And hey, you can't say it didn't work. Sorry for not telling you my plan beforehand, by the way. I was kind of hoping to keep up the ruse a little longer. Do me a favor, though, and don't tell the kid. I still need to wait for the right time. I don't think you need to tell your employer anything. You gotta protect yourself. You shouldn't tell him at all. You'll get in trouble. Although, as the prince who loves magic, he'd probably be pretty enamored with the fact that his caretaker is a mage. It's the father that has an issue with magic, not the son. The son still seems to be, like, pretty about it. You shouldn't tell him at all. Are you kidding me? Maybe you can get away with using magic in the Southern Kingdom if you're careful, but the problem is you're the prince's guardian and you're a mage, and you haven't been truthful about it. If you tell the prince, people will find out eventually, and there's no telling what his father would do once it gets back to him. So that means you gotta keep it a secret. Please promise me, Crow. Rosemary, you do realize you're advising me to lie to the royal family, which is against the law, naturally. I wish you didn't have to do that, but I can't see any way around it. You can't let them lock you away or hurt you. Well now, you've got a wild streak after all. Of course, that's no surprise to me. I knew as soon as I laid eyes on you. I don't know about that. I just know what's right, is all. You do, more than most folks I've met, and I'm very glad of that. Thank you, Crow. I hope you know I think you're a good person. That's why I really want you to be okay. Well, I can't promise anything, except I'll try. For what it's worth, I am sorry I lied to you, truly. I guess it's okay. You probably felt like you didn't have much choice, right? Huh, now that I think about it, I should have guessed. Those little tricks you were doing really were magic. Whenever I asked them about them, you flirt with me to dodge the subject. Rosemary, I may be a lot of things, but I'm not a man to use a woman like that. It wasn't part of my plan to sweet talk you. I just couldn't resist. Okay. You really feel that way? Crow doesn't answer, but turns away to face a large jutting rock. He lifts his hand, and I can see his fingers glow with the blue light, the same blue I saw on the cliffside the other night. No point in hiding it from you now. I've been drawing these all over the mountain while you weren't looking. Waving his arms in wide arcs, he draws a strange symbol on the rock. The symbol shines with blue light, and my eyes widen. I finally know what was so familiar about this. That's a magical rune, isn't it? I learned a little about them back when I was working with some scholars. Oh, I knew I'd seen something like that before. You know a lot more magical business than I thought you might. Not quite the rube folks take you for, are you? I don't really come across as a rube, do I? Anyway, it's like you said, I'm a wanderer. I've seen a lot of things. I don't recognize this particular symbol, though. What's it for? Protection, of course. I can't help but wonder, protection from what? But Crow's not saying anything more, and I don't want to push it when he's already trusted me with so much. What I need to focus on now is making camp for the night and making sure the little prince is safe and sound. We hole up in a nearby cave. Once the prince comes to, we do a thorough checkup and he seems alright, if a little subdued after the day's events. Prince Elgandir, do you remember anything? There was a big bird and you stabbed it and saved us. That's all I can remember though. I guess that's basically true. Hey now, how about a thank you for the lady who saved your life? You gonna thank me, you little shit? Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. It doesn't take long for the little prince to fall asleep after dinner, but I have trouble drifting off. Too much on my mind, maybe. I manage to doze for an hour or two and wake again. Prince Elgandir is sleeping like a little angel, but Crow's nowhere to be found. I go to check outside the cave. Crow's sitting a few feet away, surrounded by swirling snow. Goodness, aren't you freezing cold? Not really. Come sit with me. You'll see. As I come closer, I realize he's sitting on a little patch of sunshine and warmth. Must be some kind of spell. The snow doesn't touch him, and around his feet are grass and flowers, fresh like they're blooming in spring. I can even see a patch of stars breaking through the swirling snow clouds right above us. Ooh. Okay. We getting cozy. I have to sit close to stay in the little springtime spot, but as soon as I'm in, I feel warm and safe. He puts his arm around me, and I lean against his chest. I'm just having a nightcap. Want some? Listen. He's roguish, okay? He's a mage. He's trusted to take care of a little prince. Invite me to sit in a little springtime spot in the snow, drink a little at night while the prince is asleep. I'm not gonna say no. I love how this crow is in here too. Like, the crow is a part of this. No, I don't. I mean, I have a rule about not drinking on the job. You don't drink much, do you? Have you ever tried it before? What? Don't be silly. Of course I have. You were raised on a farm and you ain't had no alcohol? Well, actually, no. Amazing. Rosemary, amazing. I just haven't really had the chance yet, and I've been on the job an awful lot since I've left the farm. I'm not, like, weird about it or anything, though. Darling, you don't have to make excuses to me. You don't have to drink if you don't want to. Oh, thank you, Crow. But you should know, it ain't wrong to want to try. Doesn't make you any less of a good egg. He's being so nice, but for some reason, Crow's words make me well up with some powerful emotion, one I can't name. I try to distract myself by looking away, but the magical lights hit the grass. It looks just like the garden back home in the heat of summertime. My heart hurts to see it. Huh. I'm not that good. Oh, don't start with that. I ain't known you 2 days, and I can already tell you're better than most folks I meet. But I left my whole family to go gallivanting around, pretending to be a knight. Mother and father are getting older, and now they have to handle the farm themselves. I left them. I abandoned them. I'll bet they wanted you to follow your heart. That's what they said, but they're my parents, so they have to say nice things like that. They really don't. Parents don't always say nice things. I reckon yours meant what they said. And maybe it's a hunch, but I think you're like me. We're cut from the same cloth. Folks like us won't be happy spending our whole life in one spot, never knowing anything else. You would have shriveled up like a daisy in a drought if you stayed. So when you left, you were doing something nice for yourself. That counts as a good deed in my book. Crow thinks I'm like him. The thought makes me feel warm inside, but I don't know if I believe it. He seems so wild and mysterious to me. Could we really be the same kind of person? I'm not sure, but maybe I'd like to find out. Yes, girl, listen, I'm not playing this game to not drink with a handsome guy, okay? Let's have the drink. Give me that. I snatch his flask from him and take a swig. The drink burns down my throat and my whole body shudders. Rosemary, that's... No, it's okay. I know what I'm doing. I don't think you do. Oh! Rosemary! We're supposed to wait until he makes his move. Damn, she didn't even let that shit metabolize yet. She just took the swig and went for it. Alright, damn. Emboldened and giddy from the drink, I grab his face and press it to mine, kissing him fiercely. At first, he seems surprised, but he soon leans into me, running his fingers through my hair. I shudder again, but this time with pleasure. Okay, we just... I mean, it's only a 2-day romance. Like, it's 2 to 3 days before they reach their destination, so things have to move fast. I just thought there would be a little bit more build-up before we kissing. But okay, I'll take it. When we pull away, we gaze into each other's eyes. The flowers rustle at our feet, and the stars twinkle above us. Rosemary, I was gonna say, you know that ain't alcohol, right? It's just hot cider. I fucking can't with this man. This man tricked. That's actually embarrassing. That's what I mean. Like, she didn't even wait for that shit to metabolize. She was just like, took that drink, got that liquid courage, I'm going for it. It was just cider. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because we got what we wanted. We did what we was wanting to do. No, I did not know that. Amazing. We burst out laughing at the same time. It feels so good to sit here and laugh together after such an intense and exhausting day. Huh. Gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I thought I was drunk and I kissed you. There's no way you thought you were drunk as soon as you took that swig, Rosemary. She really don't know how alcohol be working. Oh, Rosemary, you're jabbing me right through the heart. You're really embarrassed to kiss me? Oh no, that's not what I meant. I just, it's not something I do. Looks like it is now. Dang, he got you into a brand new woman. Got you over here being okay with cursing, drinking, kissing new men. Huh, well, let's do it again then. Oh shit, Rosemary, you're more forward than I thought. We lean into each other, closing the distance between us as much as we can. I try to memorize how he feels, the brush of his stubble against my cheek, the way he gently... Oh Lord! The way he gently sucks on my lower lip, pulling me closer into his kiss. I didn't think that we was gonna be getting like the romance novel details. I'm actually a little shook. How the warmth from his body seems to reach all the way inside me and mine into him. The wind whistles fiercely overhead, but nothing can touch us. It's just me and him, safe and sheltered in our little garden in the snow. When we finally break apart, we stare breathlessly at each other. I feel strange and excited, like I'm seeing him for the first time. Don't laugh, but I've never done that before. That was my first kiss. Darling, I would never laugh at you. So, I'm not sure how to do this. Should we go back to the cave? Oh. Are we just about to... Oh, I don't know. It's nice out here, ain't it? Yes, it is. Let's stay a little longer. Crow lifts his hand and strokes my face with his rough, calloused fingers. There's something sad in his eyes, or am I imagining? Is he about to abandon me as soon? I really wonder, does anyone in this game have like a happy ending? Or is it like we have the fleeting romance and they all have to go off to their various destinations? Like, is that Rosemary's fate? She just never gets to have the guy? Permanently, I mean. What are you thinking about? Just how lucky I am to be here. Of all the places and times in the world, I'm right here, right now. Crow. We stay out together for a little while longer. There's a few more things I've never done before. Oh! there's a few more things I haven't done before, and Crow is happy to show them to me. Okay, Rosemary. I wake up early the next morning, at least I think it's morning. It's hard to tell from inside the cave. We went back inside sometime last night since we didn't want to leave the prince alone for too long. A soft sound from outside, like faraway thunder, shakes me out of sleep. Maybe I should worry about what exactly that is, but it's dark in here, and I'm sleepy, and I feel good. Like I could take on 3 night rocks at once. When I'm more awake, that is. What a wonderful night. It's hard to believe that a few days ago, I'd never even met Crow. Now, it almost feels like I've known him for a lifetime. The little prince wakes up soon after me, looking well rested despite the early hour. He's watching me, quietly. Half asleep, it takes me a moment to notice that Crow is nowhere to be found, even though I'm pretty sure he fell asleep next to me. Instead, I find the red rose again lying in his place. Sir, are you about to, straight up dip? How strange, I thought I'd lost it, for good. What time is it? Where's Crow? I don't know, he went outside, but he didn't say why. The prince seems less confrontational. I wonder if he's still feeling subdued after what happened yesterday. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've ever spent any time alone with him. Oh, okay. What are you doing awake, little guy? I can't get back to sleep. I heard something and it woke me up. Yeah, I think I heard it too. It sounded like a rumbling or something, but maybe it was just Crow getting up. So you and him are friends now, huh? Oh lord. Why do you say that? Because after that big bird almost got us yesterday, you're always next to each other and smiling at each other. You know, like my mama and papa. Friends. Yeah, I guess so. Hey, about that. Are you gonna tell your father about the bird? I mean, it turned out totally fine and you're safe and all, but I don't want him to think I put you in danger or was reckless or anything. No, that's okay. I wasn't gonna tell Papa about any of this. Oh, that's a relief. I mean, not that you shouldn't tell your father things, I just, you know. Wait, what do you mean by that? You're not gonna tell him what exactly? About this. Crow told me it's our secret. Crow told you? What, just now? What's a secret? When he came to get me a few days ago, he said we're going on a little trip and he'd bring me right back. He said I shouldn't tell Mom and Dad about it, and I said okay, it's boring at home anyway. This trip hasn't been as fun as he said it'd be though. I hope we get back soon. So, Crow low-key kidnapped the prince, Elgandir. And I'm wondering why. Like, are we heading back to the kingdom or are we heading in the opposite direction? I don't remember. I suddenly feel wide awake. Goosebumps riddle my arms and my mind races to put together what Prince Elgandir is telling me. I'd been holed up in that tavern for days, so of course news of a royal kidnapping wouldn't have reached me yet. And Crow never exactly explained what they were doing out there in the first place. But that means he really kidnapped the prince and lied to me? Why would he do that? No, this is crazy. He couldn't have done that. Could he? He said I shouldn't tell you about this either, but if you're friends now, it's okay, right? I hear another rumbling sound somewhere in the distance. Look, just stay right here for a minute. I have to go check on something. I rush outside, a few yards off, facing the vast mountainside that lies behind us, with his arms raised like a maestro, Crow. His cloak and hair whip in the wind, which seems to be blowing faster and faster. The far-off rumbling gets louder. Crow, what is this? You kidnapped the prince? I don't want to believe it, but he said... I mean, I didn't want to think you were hiding your powers for a bad reason, but... Crow turns to face me. His eyes look sad and haunted. Oh, geez. But he smiles softly. Darling, you got no reason to trust me. I've been keeping the truth from you this whole time. I won't blame you if you can't forgive me. I hardly hear his last few words. The rumble rises to a deafening roar, and the ground shakes. Almost too late, I realize what's happening. Crow's raised arms are glowing blue, and as he waves and gestures into the freezing air, the mountain seems to crumble as if he's crushing it with a giant invisible hand. Why? Because I swear to God, if a fucking avalanche happens and we get, like, buried. Also, this sounds like Pokemon music. Almost too quickly to seem real, a wall of churning snow and stone rushes towards us. I can catch glimpses of that familiar blue light on the onslaught. Those runes. You are marking the mountain in key places, so you could trigger an avalanche? Avalanche. What's going on? I whip around and my heart drops. The prince has wandered out of the tent and is watching us. I have to keep him safe, but what can I do? I can't fight an avalanche. You kidnapped the prince, and now you're going to kill us. Why? Why would you do this? Because you're upset about how the king is treating mages? Explain it to me. He sighs quietly and winks at me as if we're sharing a secret. Close, but no cigar. And with that, he pulls his hands together. The blue light surging from his fingers smashed together with a noise like a thunderclap. At once, the boulders marked with Crow's runes move, as if unaffected by gravity, as if they have a will of their own. They pull together and surge forward, just as the avalanche is getting close. The marked boulders stop short right in front of us, forming a sort of wall shield, so that the rest of the crashing snow and rocks are diverted. Okay, so we're not dead. I hear the roar scream in my ears as the mountainside shakes around us, but protected by the boulder shield, 3 of us are safe. I can't tell how long it takes. My heart is pounding, and I can hardly think, but eventually the avalanche settles and stops. The 3 of us, the tent, the donkey, and the path home, are all untouched. Crow finally lets his arms drop. He stands like that for a while, hunched over, breathing hard. When he finally looks back at me, he grins with some effort. I can't think of what to say, but the prince steps right up to Crow, his eyes wide in shock and sudden understanding. You saved us. With real magic? I don't know about that, kiddo. What do you think? Okay, so I accused him. And, well, I mean, I accused him because he kidnapped the prince, and that's shady as fuck. But there was already going to be an avalanche. And he saved us. That doesn't make sense, though. I think... What if it's more like he kidnapped the mage, or he kidnapped the prince, and then he devised something so that an avalanche would trigger, but then he would also save him, so the prince would have a good opinion of mages, so that the treatment of mages and other fae and whatever changes once he comes into kinghood. Homie's playing the long con. I don't... A spark of wonder lights up the prince's eyes and then goes dim. His eyelashes flutter. He takes a stumbling step and nearly falls face first into the snow. Crow is there just in time to catch him. The little prince is totally out cold, overcome with fear and excitement. Gosh, that poor kid sure faints a lot. It's sleep magic, just a touch. I used it the last time we were attacked too. Just want him getting through all of this without being too traumatized. Oh, that makes sense. I guess you were saving us from that avalanche after all. I'm sorry I accused you of trying to kill us. I don't blame you for thinking it, darling. I have drawn the same conclusion in your place. Maybe, but that's just not how I see you. I just... He reaches out and puts his hand on my shoulder. At his touch, I feel calmer. Rosemary, I promise it's okay. I still don't understand, though. How did you know the avalanche was going to happen? Simple. I remembered it happening, and I remembered being saved the last time I was here. What? The last time? Now that Crow is cradling the prince in his arms, I notice a few things I hadn't before. Oh, okay, this is a twist. I thought they looked similar, but I didn't think that, like, this is Help Me from the future. Their hair and skin are the exact same shade, They both have thick eyelashes. Their eyes share that bright turquoise color, which is unusual for the Southron Kingdom. They both have small earrings on their left ear. No, it couldn't be what I'm thinking. You said most of your attention went to studying one particular school of magic, a really difficult one. Was that time magic? You are the prince? You came from the future? Boy, was I ever wasting my time trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Come on, it's sunrise, and the royal guard will be here for me soon. The royal guard? So you're in trouble? If memory serves, yes, a whole heap of trouble. Heap of trouble. But I owe you an apology and the truth. The whole truth this time. Do you want to hear it? Obviously, yes. We decide to get out of the snow first. Back in the cave, the prince sleeps quietly, and Crow shuffles his deck of cards. I still don't know what to think yet. My mind is numb. I guess I knew that with time magic, something like this was theoretically possible, but everyone says that no one has ever been able to make it happen for real. Most scholars dismiss time magic as improbable and unwieldy and dangerous. The idea of a time travel is a fantasy, unheard of. Could I really be speaking to one right now? I might be talking for a while, so I hope I don't bore you. No, please. I really want to understand. Huh, well, alright then. You asked for it. But, damn, I hardly know where to start. Well, for one thing, I never wanted to be a prince, and I certainly didn't want to be a king, but I always thought that was the only thing I could ever be. My whole life, everything has been planned out for me. Since before I was born. There were always a ton of folks watching me, making sure I was doing everything I was supposed to. And the list of things I couldn't do, well, let's just say there's a lot of things in the world that ain't proper for the royal family. It was the same way for everyone I knew. They all did what the royals wanted, and everything else was forbidden. I never got to leave the palace. I never knew there was anything different. Except I always had a memory of a man, this strange vagabond with powers, who saved me one night from an avalanche on a mountain. I only half remembered it, and it hardly even felt real. When would I ever have been able to see a real mountain? I thought it was only a dream for a while. Still, it gave me hope. I knew there was another way to be. There were people who didn't live the kind of life I had, the kind that my father thought was the only one worth living. Those people were magic people, and they could do things beyond anyone imagined. It was because of that mysterious man who saved me that I eventually looked into magical ability for myself. Secretly, of course. When I found out I had some magic potential, my closed little world suddenly opened a big old window. Wow, did your father ever find out about your magic? Hard to say. I don't know for sure if my old man knew what I was doing, but since that's about when he started making harsher laws about magical practice, I reckon he might have had an inkling. It was a hard time. But through it all, I remembered that strange vagabond who seemed to be able to do anything, and I felt like I could do anything too. And in a way, I could. When it got so that magic was completely forbidden, I used mine to escape. That'll happen in about 10 or 12 years or so. Look for it. It'll make the news all over the world, not to brag or nothing. They'll never find me, though. I mean to say they never did. I got away clean. Life was hard, living on my own, always on the run, but I managed it. And I was free to do what I liked. I could smoke and drink and keep whatever company I wanted. Nobody was watching me or telling me to do this and that. My magic always kept me a step ahead of the royal guard. I didn't think I had a care in the world, but as I got older, the face looking at me in the mirror got more and more familiar. I realized I was the strange vagabond from my memories, and that it was my responsibility to set myself on this path, my fate, if you believe in that stuff. So I put all my other magic studies aside, and started training myself in time magic. There isn't anyone foolish enough to teach that stuff, so I was all on my own, cobbling together what I could from scraps of ancient texts. That must have been really hard. I don't know much about magic, but I know most people say time magic is impossible. I even heard someone say the only reason it's not forbidden is because no one can figure it out enough to use it. That's right. But because I'd seen evidence that I'd learn how to do it eventually, that gave me the confidence to keep going. I reckon by now I understand time magic more than any living soul, and there's still so much I don't have a handle on. It's like I'm feeling around in the dark, hoping I'm doing something right, or at least not knocking over anything important. I might be doing damage to the very fabric of the universe, but I don't really have any way to know. But I know what I saw and what I remember. I figured better to do my part to help the past happen how it did. I just wanted to give myself that little glimpse. Not so much that he gets overwhelmed, just a little spark that'll burn hotter and hotter the more he grows up. I want to make sure he knows there are people like me in the world, that he can become one of those people if he's willing to try. But why did you kidnap him? And if you wanted him, you know what I mean. If you wanted to show off your magic, why did you make him fall asleep when you possessed the Night Rock? See, darling, this is where time magic gets tricky. I did the things the way I did because that's how I remember them. I don't remember seeing any magic before the avalanche. But being here on this mountain tonight, that's an important part of the memory. I couldn't figure out how to get him here exactly, except to take him myself. Who knows why I ever did it in the first place? I guess it's just one of those tricks of time and fate, where one thing feeds into the other. Of course, I already messed up and done things differently. What do you mean? What's different? You, darling. As soon as I saw you in that tavern, and I saw you were looking for work, I just had an impulse. I could never resist a beautiful girl, especially one who could lift me over her head. Okay, he likes the strong woman. But you're risking everything to come back in time and do this. Why would you do something so stupid and bring me along? What if everything gets messed up? I know, I'm a damn fool, but that's just my way. If I know anything, it's that I can't worry too much. Otherwise, I'll never have any fun in this life. And meeting you, it's been a lot more than just fun. It's all been worth it, don't you think? I did not play this route just to say no, it's not worth it. Yes, it's worth it. Yes, I'm so glad I met you, even if you had to break the laws of the universe to get here. No one's ever made me feel like this before. I don't really have the words to describe it, but if this feeling isn't worth taking a risk for, then nothing is. Oh, well put, Rosemary. Spoken like a poet. See, I knew you'd understand. We really are cut from the same cloth. I don't know about that. I can't exactly bend time, space-time like you can. But don't you see? In a way you already have. One look at you, and I decided on the spot to change the course of history. Who knows how the timeline might ripple and change all because you and I got together on this go-round. I can't see all the ways time is affected. It's too vast and complicated for me, but I'd bet my life you've made an impact. Don't say that. It's way too much pressure. Sorry, darling. I'm just calling it like I see it. So, should I call you Prince Elgandir for now? Nah, keep calling me Crow. I like it best because that's what you call me. Besides, the name my folks gave me never suited me much. Suddenly, a loud, low note echoes over the mountainside. It's the sound of a horn being blown, the kind used by the royal guard of Starlight City. And that'll be the king's forces coming to take me away. They've been looking for me, for the little prince, I mean. Someone saw him at the tavern back there, so they know he'd be taken over the mountain, and they've gathered their troops to catch him in the act. That's what I'll find out later, anyway. Don't worry about yourself. I'll make sure they don't hold you responsible. No, they can't do this. It's okay. I'll help you escape. Not to worry, darling. I don't have much time left here anyway. I'll be gone before they get here, whether I like it or not. What do you mean by that? Crow's not listening to me. The royal guard's horn sounds again, louder this time. They're getting closer, but he doesn't seem worried. He kneels by the little prince and gently shakes him awake. Once again, I'm struck by how similar they are now that I know what to look for. Listen up, Prince. You need to tell everyone who will listen that I kidnapped you. Tell them that this nice lady here is the one who chased me off and saved you. Otherwise, they're going to think she's my accomplice. Can you do that for me, little fella? Okay, I can tell them that. Look at his cute little face. They almost are wearing like the same shade of cape and shirt too. And if you look under, they have the same little gold chain right under the tie. And another thing, it may not feel like it, but your folks really do love you, even if they have a funny way of showing it. Don't forget that, even for a second. But don't let them walk all over you either. Your old man, he always... Crow's voice catches in the middle of his sentence and he can't speak. After a moment, he seems to choke back his words, apparently deciding he's said enough. The little prince furrows his brow. He's still half asleep and I'm not sure he understands, but it sounds to me like Crow just needed to say it for himself. After a bit, the sleep magic kicks in again and the prince drifts off. I guess this whole journey will register as a dreamlike experience for him, almost like it didn't even happen. But I know he'll never really forget, and neither will I. Alright, that's as settled as it's gonna get. Now that Crow's standing up again, facing me, I can see that his body looks like it's fading a little. My heart drops. I can guess what that means, but I desperately hope I'm wrong. Time for me to go, darling. No, you can't. We only just met. It's not fair. That's time magic for you. I can't stay in a time that's not my own. Not for long. I'm gonna snap back to the future any minute now. Bring me with you then. I want to go too. I can't do that either, as much as I like to. I'm not sure how to bring someone else with me. And besides, it wouldn't be your time any more than this one is mine. You'd snap back eventually, just like I'm doing now. But can you come back? I just want to see you again. Rosemary. I wish more than anything I could say something now that would make you smile. But using time magic to come back here just this once was already harder than anything I've done before. I don't know if I could ever manage to try it again. I'd almost wish I hadn't met you just so I wouldn't have to say goodbye now. But I just can't, even if it all goes wrong in the worst way. Meeting you is worth it. What the heck? This is sad. I've been trying not to cry, but I just can't help it. I rush into his arms and pull him into a deep kiss. That's just great. So I meet a roguish, time-traveling prince, and then I can't even be with him. This is the worst day of my life. His body already feels light and cool, like he's not entirely here. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. I agree. Crow, listen, maybe it's not impossible. If you know more about time magic than anyone, maybe you can find a way that we can be together for good. It's a nice idea, darling, but I don't want you getting your hopes up. I might spend my whole life trying to find a way and never come up with anything. But how about this? I promise you I'll try. Even if it does take my whole life, I'll do my damnedest to find a way back to you. I know what he's saying is impossible. Crow and I can't stay together. When he's gone, he'll be gone for good. But it makes me feel better just to hear him say he'll try. It feels good to pretend. Look out for me in about 20 years, alright? I bet you'll still be real cute. I always had a thing for older women anyway. Don't make me laugh, I'll just cry even more. We kiss again, for what might be the last time. With every second, Crow fades away more and more. Crow? Yes, darling? I really... But before I can finish, he's gone. The prince and I are left there, alone, with the snow and the wind howling around us. I wait, dumbfounded, for the guards to arrive. Oh, this is a nice little background. That's like... Whoever did the background art for this, I really like it. It's very cute and aesthetic. It's almost giving Steven Universe vibes. Style is a little bit different, but that's, you know, that's what it's giving. Things unfold exactly like Crow said they would. When the royal guard catch up with us, the prince tells them I saved him from the kidnapper. I'll confirm the story, and in Starlight City, I'm hailed as a hero. It feels empty and hollow, and I'm barely paying attention. They take the prince away, back to his family. There's not much time to say goodbye, but I wouldn't know what to say anyway. I hope it worked. I hope he'll be okay. I think he will. He's still out there, somewhere in the future, isn't he? It's only been a few hours since we got back, and there's already talk of the Southern Kingdom making me a knight, as a reward for my heroic deed. I don't really feel I've earned it, but maybe I'm just too sad right now. I've lost something important to me, something I didn't even know I needed. How can I care about anything else? By the end of the night, I'm in the tavern much like the one I started in. I'm laying in my bed, staring at the ceiling. How could I have met Crow and had him taken from me so quickly? A few days ago, I didn't even know him. How can it hurt this much that he's gone? Even if I did meet him again, in the future, could we even be together? After all, he said that he'd have to be on the run. Why not? Like, I'll be on the run with him. I don't care. It seems so unfair for it to turn out that way. Why can't he just do what he wants? Why shouldn't he use his magic? It's not like he uses it to do anything bad. Why does being himself have to make him an outlaw? What if I became a knight and the king makes me chase down people like him someday? I don't want that. I feel confused, tired, and empty. Most of all, I just miss him. But life will go on, won't it? I'll become a knight. A real knight. Just like I've always dreamed about since I was small. I can go back to the farm, make everyone proud, and I'll decide what kind of knight I want to be. I'll be a good one who protects people like Crow, or anyone who needs help. No one can stop me from being who I want to be. That's what Crow taught me. And who knows, in 20 years, he'll be the Crow I recognize again. It won't be the same. It won't ever be the same, but it'll still be him, even if it's not the him that I knew. That's something to look forward to. Suddenly, my deep thoughts are interrupted by a flash of blue light. I bolt up in bed. Someone's in my room. What's going on? I can't believe it. Damn. Homie got a little bit older. Maybe a little bit more scruffy. I feel like he has more scar on his face somehow. Sorry to keep you waiting, darling. For me, it's only been a few hours. For him, it's clearly been years. 10, at least. Maybe more. Okay, I got the older daddy magician. I'm not mad at it. He looks older, exhausted, haggard. But it's him. It's Crow. It's really you, isn't it? You're not gonna disappear again. Not this time. It didn't take me a lifetime, just a decade or so of study, but I cracked it. I figured it out. Dang, homie really spent 10 years figuring that out. I'm here again, darling. For good. Most folks thought I was crazy, doing all this for someone I hardly knew for a day. But what can I say? I just can't leave a pretty girl alone. I hope you don't mind that I'm not quite so young and handsome anymore. I rush to him and hold him in my arms. It feels so good to do that again. You're perfect. I missed you so much. Not as much as I missed you, believe me, right? Like, he spent a decade literally thinking about me, knowing damn well he was gonna come back here when I'm still young and pretty, and he's older and more haggard. But, you know, this is like some star-crossed lover stuff, except we get together. I think it's sweet. It must have been so hard. I'm sorry you had to go through that. All that time. I'll have plenty of stories to tell you, that's for sure. The kingdom's a much worse place for magic folk in the future. That's something I want to try and change as much as I can, now that I'm back in the past. Are you sure you're okay with that, darling? Nobody knows quite who I am here, but still won't be exactly living by the law. I don't want to drag you into anything that will wreck your future. I don't care about that. I'll stay with you. I'll fight by your side, no matter what. I'm glad to hear that. But there will be plenty of time for that later. For now, he smiles. Oh Lord! He smiles at me and gently guides me back to the bed. We've got to make up for lost time. Listen, show me what you learned in that decade, boy. I am completely okay with that. Oh, that was super cute. Not too long. That was only about an hour and 15 minutes, I think, of me playing. I am glad, okay, that I got the happy ending, because I was scared for a second that, but by saying that he didn't need to tell anyone about his magic, that I somehow created a bad ending for myself. I don't actually know if there were good and bad endings, but I feel like there has to be some variance since you're able to have choices in the game. That was really cute though, I like that. I also really like the UI, like I feel like it's really clean, it's really cute. It's simple, but it's like, I don't know, cozy, pastel, romantic, you know? Just a quick little fun play. And that was Rose of Winter. Okay. So, definitely something you can finish in one sitting, very amusing, entertaining. I actually really like the lore that they've set up around it. Like, if there was a little novel, like a romance novel about them, I think I would read that. I am interested in playing the other routes, and I just might. When? I'm not 100% sure. Not sure if I'll record that or not, but thanks for sticking around. Check out Rose of Winter if you want on Steam. I believe it was pretty cheap, even before it was on sale. Alright. See y'all next time.